Amidst the entertainment industry's crushing demands, which are often cold, detached, and unforgiving, Taehyung and Jungkook prove that they possess an untouched, secret private space, a sanctuary where they can be their truest selves, look after one another, and continue to grow without the fear of external pressure or public judgment. This frenzy goes beyond a mere pop culture phenomenon. It is a profound statement about the courage to be real. In a world that often demands we always appear polished, perfect, or hide our private sides to maintain a specific, curated image, they chose to show the most human, vulnerable side of themselves. They don't need official announcements, press releases, or cold white papers from an agency to justify their existence. Simply through eye contact, genuine physical closeness, and the way they cherish their quiet time together, they have spoken louder than 1,000 written statements ever could. Taehyung, who never shifted his focus from Jungkook even while the Paris sky was exploding in the most spectacular, dazzling colors, is the absolute definition of someone who loves with his whole world. Likewise, Jungkook, who radiated such confidence and tranquil acceptance, shows that he has finally found his final harbor, a place where he can simply be. Beneath the night sky of Paris, they teach us a beautiful, lasting lesson about the meaning of love in today's chaotic, fast-paced age. That the greatest courage is not about how loudly we shout to the world to be recognized or validated, but about how brave we are to show true, unadulterated happiness with the person we love, just as they are, without fear and with full, unashamed pride. Thank you for joining this long, heartfelt, and immersive session of dissecting this sweet, iconic moment. Now, I want to hear your thoughts again. After looking back at these intimate moments in Paris, which tiny detail do you think most proves the sincerity of their love? Please leave your best, most detailed comments below, and I will gladly pin the most touching, insightful one as a form of respect for this beautiful, unfolding story. Thank you for always being an integral part of this community and for continuing to support Taekook fans. May warmth, love, and endless kindness always accompany you all, wherever you may be in this world. This video is created as a creative work based on personal interpretation and is intended entirely for entertainment purposes only. That night, Paris was not just a city. It was the silent witness to a new, profound chapter being written beneath the velvet expanse of the night sky. Amidst the glimmering, golden city lights that danced and shimmered across the winding surface of the Seine, the Eiffel Tower stood tall, resolute, and majestic. It served as the anchor for a symphony of fireworks that tore through the darkness, painting the atmosphere with mesmerizing, vivid colors, shades of crimson, gold, and electric blue. Yet, in the midst of a grandeur that commanded the attention of the entire world, Kim Taehyung chose to do the most honest, human, and vulnerable thing possible. He stopped looking at the spectacular display in the sky and chose to gaze, with an intensity that burned like a steady flame, at the only universe that truly mattered to him, Jungkook. This Instagram post was far more than a simple visual medium. It was a silent, powerful declaration that shook the global community to its core. It whispered to us that in a world so incredibly loud, crowded, and demanding, where every single movement is scrutinized under a microscopic lens, Jungkook is the ultimate sanctuary, the place where Taehyung finally finds his absolute peace. It showed us that love, when it is real, profound, and mature, no longer needs to be hidden in the dusty shadows or suppressed behind the heavy, cold formalities of industry standards. It deserves to be shared, radiating the truth that they have finally found their home, their harbor, and their future in one another. This is a rare, breathtaking form of courage in our modern era. Without the need for dramatic, lengthy captions, hashtags, or stiff, scripted agency clarifications, Taehyung's deep, soul-piercing gaze, a look that seemed unwilling to break even for a fraction of a second, and Jungkook's calm, serene smile, reflecting complete and utter confidence, became the absolute proof we had long waited for. They are not seeking validation from the public, nor are they performing a scripted routine for an audience. They are simply, beautifully, and authentically enjoying their own sacred, private space, a space that can only be truly entered by two souls who understand each other perfectly. And there, in that untouched, magical intimacy, J-Hope was present as the gentle, respectful keeper of the moment, capturing an eternal, candid portrait of two souls who finally dared to show their love with such effortless, quiet elegance. Hello, ARMY and our growing extended family. It is such a pleasure to welcome you back to the channel. Let's dive even deeper into the magic, the subtle subtext, and the unspoken beauty that defined that night on Taekook fans. The virtual world truly stopped beating the moment that notification from Taehyung's account appeared. This was no longer just another aesthetic photo we are used to seeing on our feeds. This was a narrative that could no longer be contained, managed, or kept private. The public was absolutely stunned, not just by the undeniable visual beauty of the scene, but by the intense, palpable emotional frequency radiating between Taehyung and Jungkook, a level of closeness and comfort that, until now, we may have only dared to keep in our deepest, most hopeful thoughts. Imagine the atmosphere for a moment. The crisp, cool Paris air, the faint, romantic scent of the city drifting through the streets, and the majestic, thunderous fireworks serving as the perfect, rhythmic soundtrack for a confession of the heart. However, for Taehyung, all that festive glory was merely a peripheral backdrop. His attention never wavered, not even for a fleeting second, from the person sitting beside him. Taehyung, with his iconic, effortless casual style, seemed so completely lost in his own world. The camera captured those precious, flickering moments, the way he glanced with such haunting intensity, the way he let a sincere, small smile bloom on his face while looking at Jungkook. It was the undeniable look of a man who realized, perhaps for the first time or perhaps for the 1000th time, that he had found his home in the presence of another. Jungkook, sitting just a breath away, radiated an extraordinary aura of grounded calm. Dressed in a simple, clean white shirt that contrasted beautifully with the glamorous, golden night scene, he looked so comfortable, so safe, and so at ease. As he returned Taehyung's gaze with a soft, mysterious, yet deeply meaningful smile, we seemed to be witnessing a private, secret conversation that only the two of them understood. There was no awkwardness, no performative tension, and no attempt to keep a respectful, professional distance in front of the lens. There were only two human beings, perfectly complementing each other in the heart of the most romantic city in the world. This post was not just viral, it became a global cultural moment. Millions of likes and hundreds of thousands of comments flooded the screen within minutes, all agreeing on one singular, beautiful truth. This was a gaze that could not possibly be faked, staged, or engineered by a PR team. That look belonged to someone who had surrendered his heart completely, with nothing held back and nothing to hide. For us, the loyal supporters who have watched their journey evolve over the years, seeing them smile this freely is a priceless, heartwarming happiness. This moment in Paris feels like a final confirmation, an answer to all the sweet, lingering speculations that have been growing among fans for years. They were not acting for a project, a brand deal, or a trend. They were simply living in the quiet, overwhelming happiness they built themselves. Ultimately, this short video acts as the closing of a great mystery and simultaneously the opening chapter of their new, authentic story.